Israeli forces struck multiple cities. Explosions rocked the capital, Tehran, with reports of missiles hitting areas near the presidential palace and the compound of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Other targets include Isfahan, Qom, Karaj and Kermanshah, where military infrastructure and nuclear-related sites face heavy bombardment. It is reported that at least 40 had been killed in an Israeli strike on a school in southern Iran. US President Donald Trump describes the campaign as a massive and ongoing effort to eliminate imminent threats and prevent the Iranian regime from acquiring nuclear weapons.
It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil.
Trump said that Iran's nuclear program threatens his country and its allies.
They attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland.
The US president also threatened to destabilize the Iranian military.
We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans, and we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, meanwhile, labeled the strikes a preemptive necessity to remove an existential danger to his country. Iran responds by launching waves of ballistic missiles at Israel and US military installations across the Gulf. Blasts occur in the skies over Jerusalem, while explosions affect Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. Officials in Abu Dhabi confirm one fatality from falling missile shrapnel. Explosions are continuing to be reported in Dubai. This comes shortly after the UAE's defense ministry confirmed it intercepted a new wave of missiles. This escalation follows the breakdown of nuclear negotiations in Geneva and a previous 12-day air war in June 2025. Reports from Tehran indicate a near-total internet blackout and widespread panic as residents flee major urban centers. Military analysts suggest this mobilization represents the largest Western military presence in the region for over 2 decades. Airspace across the Middle East remains closed as the conflict intensifies. Taking this situation into account, the Civil Aviation Authority announced that Sri Lankan Airlines and several other carriers have suspended services to the Middle East region, and passengers are urged to arrive at the airport only after contacting their respective airlines. As a result, 10 flights scheduled to operate between Colombo and Middle East were cancelled. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it is in close contact with all Sri Lankan diplomatic missions in the Middle Eastern region amidst the ongoing crisis. Further, the ministry states that there has not been much impact on the Sri Lankans in the Middle Eastern region. For assistance, the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau introduced the hotline 071 980 2822, accessible through WhatsApp.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
The situation in the Middle East is detrimental to Sri Lanka's growth, mainly for tourism. This thought was shared by former diplomat Dr. Palitha Kohona. Speaking to us, Dr. Kohona is of the view that the situation can have an impact on some of our key exports and energy supplies.
I believe that it's a very unfortunate situation and a difficult situation for South Asian and other Asian countries. For one thing, aviation links with Europe and beyond will be interrupted or affected by the current situation, which is not something that these countries would like to see happen at present, especially given Sri Lanka's own situation at the moment where tourism is doing very well. But the current situation in the Middle East is likely to have an impact on our resurgence in the tourism sector. We also have to remember that there are hundreds of thousands of Sri Lankans employed in the Middle East, and now their safety and security will become an issue. There may even be a situation where we may be forced to evacuate some of our nationals. Recall that this happened during the Iraq War. Again, for Sri Lanka, this is not good news. And then, of course, there are other aspects. Sri Lanka, Iran is a major market for Sri Lankan tea. Middle East is an important market for our tea. Our energy also comes mainly from the Middle East, and that will be affected. So all in all, an upsurge of violence in the Middle East is not good news for Sri Lanka. So we will have to take all this into account when determining how to react to the current situation. It's not going to be easy. It will have to be done with care, but taking into account the fact that most of the protagonists in the current conflict are countries with which Sri Lanka has good relations as well as very important economic relations.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says the 10th coal shipment brought for the Norochule power plant by the current administration fails to meet the required quality standards. Speaking during a special briefing to the media today, the opposition leader stated that assessments reveal significant discrepancies in the fuel's specifications, and in the interest of clarity, we refrained from dubbing his remarks.
දිගින් දිගටම අපි හෙළිදරව් කරා මේ ගේන ගල්ලංගුරු ප්‍රමිතියෙන් තොරයි කියන කාරණා. දැන් අපිට හෙළිදරව් කරන්න පුළුවන් පද්ධති පාලන ඒකක වාර්තා අනුවත් ඒ වගේම විදුලි බල මණ්ඩලයේ වාර්තා අනුවත් මහජන උපයෝගීතා කොමිසමේ වාර්තා අද අපිට පැහැදිලිවම කියන්න පුළුවන් 10 වෙනි නැවෙනුත් ගොඩබාපු ගල්ලංගුරු ප්‍රමිතියෙන් තොරයි. මෙගාවොට් 300ක් නිපදවන්න ඕන තැන පළවෙනි යුනිට් එකෙන් 10 වෙනි නැවේ ගල්ලංගුරු වලින් නිපදවන්නේ මෙගාවොට් 273. ඒ වගේම 3 වෙනි යුනිට් එකෙන් නිපදවන්නේ මෙගාවොට් 275. එහෙනම් 10 වෙනි නැවෙනුත් අවිලා තියෙන්නේ දකුණු අප්‍රිකානු ගල්ලංගුරු. මේ ප්‍රශ්නය ගැන විසඳුම හදිසි මිලදීම් ගැනීමමද? ඇයි මේ හදිසි මිලදී ගැනීම තත්වයට යොමු වුනේ? යොමු වෙන්න ප්‍රධානතම හේතුව අපේ රටට ප්‍රමිතියෙන් තොර ගල්ලංගුරු ගෙනේ. මේ සිදුවෙන ගල්ලංගුරු වංචාවට මේ රජය වග කියන්නේ. මේ සියලුම කර්තව්‍යයන් වලින් වාසිය ගන්නේ ඉන්ධන මාෆියා. විපතටපත් වෙන්නේ, හානියට ලක් වෙන්නේ අපේ රටේ සමස්ත ජනතාව. මේකද ඔබ ඇති කරනවා කියපු වෙනස.
Meanwhile, Lanka Coal Company issued an emergency procurement notice for the acquisition of 300,000 tons of coal. This move aims to secure essential supplies for the Norochule power plant during the March to April period of 2026. Authorities obtained detention orders for 4 individuals, including a woman and a former army intelligence officer, following a massive drug bust in Ambalangoda and Ahungalle. The Balampitiya magistrate sanctioned their interrogation until the 5th of next month. Operation details revealed the seizure of over 27 kilograms of heroin and crystal methamphetamine valued at approximately 500 million rupees, alongside a significant cache of live ammunition. Senior DIG Kitsiri Jailath confirmed that a suspect intercepted on a motorcycle provided the intelligence leading to a house raid in Galdua. Investigations link the operation to an organized criminal figure currently residing overseas. In a separate development, detectives continue the 72-hour interrogation of 2 suspects connected to a recent hair salon shooting in Jiddupitiya. Charges involve providing transport and logistical support to the gunman. Meanwhile, investigators made significant arrests regarding the double murder of a lawyer and his wife in Akureguda. While the primary shooters remain in custody, the search for the T-56 assault rifle and pistol used in the crime persists. One suspect detailed an escape via a highway bus to Mattala, leading police to believe the vehicle was specifically deployed for his getaway.
Now for some news in brief.
A protest was held today in Jaffna and Batticalobe against the new Protection of State from Terror Bill.
the business news on Gold FM.
Confidence in Sri Lanka's financial system has remained steady in the short term, but has seen a decline for the medium-term outlook. This is according to the latest Systemic Risk Survey released by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. CBSL noted that the survey, conducted between December 2025 and January 2026, reveals that market participants are increasingly concerned about geopolitical tensions and natural hazards. While short-term sentiment over the next year remains generally positive, the outlook for the next 3 years has softened. Data indicate that there is no single dominant threat. Rather, risks are broadly spread across several categories. Notably, the perceived probability of a high-impact negative event occurring has seen an uptick for both the short and medium terms. The Ministry of Education officially honoured LOLC Holdings plc for restoring 200 schools within 45 days of Cyclone Ditwa under LOLC Divisavyab Obai Mamai Aperatai initiative. This 500 million rupee investment allowed thousands of displaced students to resume their education safely across 6 districts. Phase 1 delivered essential relief packs across 6 districts and 69 divisional secretariats, while Phase 2 focused on restoring damaged schools, allowing thousands of students to safely resume their education within just 45 days.
International news on Gold FM.
French President Emmanuel Macron called for an urgent meeting of the United Nations Security Council, saying the outbreak of a war between the United States, Israel and Iran has serious consequences for international peace and security. Meanwhile, the Russian Foreign Ministry condemned the joint military action by the United States and Israel against Iran, describing it as an unprovoked act of aggression against a sovereign state. Moscow warned that the strikes on nuclear and military facilities risk a humanitarian and radiological catastrophe. Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, dismissed previous diplomatic efforts as a mere cover for military intervention. Meanwhile, the European Union called for maximum restraint and emphasized the importance of international law. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas described the situation as perilous and confirmed the evacuation of non-essential staff from the region.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
Oscar-winning actress Susan Sarandon says she was fired by her agency and effectively blacklisted in Hollywood after calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, making it impossible for her to work in major US film or television. Sarandon, who was dropped by UTA in 2023 after speaking at a pro-Palestine rally in New York, said she has since found work through agents in England and Italy and now specializes in independent films. She made the remarks during a discussion ahead of receiving the International Goya Award in Barcelona today in recognition of her career, including Thelma and Louise and Dead Man Walking.
Sports news on Gold FM.
Pakistan face a high-stakes Super 8s match against already eliminated Sri Lanka at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium today with their T20 World Cup campaign on the line. Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to bowl first. England have already secured the top spot in Group 2, leaving Pakistan needing to overhaul New Zealand's net run rate to claim the second semi-final berth. To advance, Pakistan must beat Sri Lanka by more than 65 runs or chase down the target inside 13 overs. Stumps on day 2 of the 96th Battle of the Maroons saw Nalanda College reach 278 for 4 in response to a formidable first innings total from Ananda College. Nemindu Akmimana anchored the Nalanda reply with a composed unbeaten century, finishing the day on 112. He found solid support from Usanda Pamuditha, who contributed 55 to the scoreboard. On the bowling front for Ananda, Kithma Vidhanapathirana proved the most successful, claiming 2 wickets for 62 runs. That's it for the news. I'm Atik Rumi. Have a great evening.
This is one party you don't